Happy birthday, man. This is
Yeah,
a birthday to the podcast. That time is officially 3 years old.
3 years old since 2020.
Just before pandemic, we decided to start this podcast and then all hell broke loose, man. Remember we had an episode or maybe two episodes that we did online.
Yeah,
We did online on Zoom, man, or
yeah.
something.
That was pre before the lockdowns. I
Uh,
remember, so we were able to have like a face to face recording, and then lockdowns happened, and we did some of the recordings online.
yeah, because the pandemic what broke out like February, right? Or was it
Yeah,
February,
yeah,
March, something like that?
yeah.
And it was just the previous November
Mm.
that we decided to do this. So happy birthday to the
Yeah, happy
podcast, man. It's
birthday!
been
Cheers to that. But
yeah.
we don't have any alcohol since still 5:30 in the afternoon.
This is the sunset episode.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, sunset.
Yeah. You
So
can
yeah.
go for it, man, but you don't do pre-dinner
Nah, I
drinks.
don't drink. That's one of my strange rules. I rarely drink when there's still sunlight
Oh,
outside.
really?
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
definitely different in American culture.
Yeah, maybe when I'm on the beach or
Sure, sure.
just chilling somewhere,
Yeah.
having not nothing to do. Why not?
But
3 years on
yeah.
pandemic. Man, it seems like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, I gotta say, I appreciate all the hours that we've spent being able to discuss a wide variety of topics,
Yeah,
some venting.
yeah.
It's been actually helpful for somebody like me who doesn't like to get into social gatherings as much.
Okay.
So we get to have some dedicated time to, just kind of discussing what's on our minds,
Yeah.
what are we concerned about these days, things that are stressing us out as fathers or just in general. So I gotta appreciate it's been great being able to do this with you as my cousin.
Yeah.
Not growing up here and not getting out to hang out with you guys, growing up. At least this is some time where get some quality family time, not
Yeah.
just some good discussion time.
Yeah.
So
Cheers. To
thanks.
that.
Yeah, thank you, man.
You're welcome, and thank you as well. Yeah, it's been a fun ride. 3 years on. My
Yeah.
daughter's about to turn three. Man, oh
Three.
yeah,
There's that three, man.
yeah. There's three.
And you know what? Our daughter's in third grade.
Oh really? Oh my.
There it is again, man.
Oh, there's a
What's
story.
the universe telling us?
For anybody not in the loop, for another time, maybe we'll get that whole three thing.
Yeah.
But 3 years on, so how's it been? Is
In
everything
school, like,
getting any
grade
better?
school is starting to get a little scary. So third
Mm.
grade is the first year where your kid goes to school all day.
Mm.
And it's an adjustment on, you can see it's an adjustment not just for the parents, but for the
Mm.
kid as well. You're starting to hear in third grade, like kids complain about school, like, oh, it's so boring.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't used to hear that in first and second grade.
Yeah.
They're only there till, lunchtime.
Yeah.
And it's, you go home. Now it's different. So, I think they're starting to feel the reality, what I mean, of like being in school literally all day. They're just
From
like
morning till
sitting
afternoon,
down.
right?
Yeah. That's one of the things that I definitely question is the way we mass education, I guess is
Just the education system here.
the education system that's adopted probably in most places on the planet. And it's just, you can see it in the third graders, they're just like, they should be out and about learning about math while doing something in the world. They can be doing minor carpentry or things like that. They don't have to be doing any labor stuff, but I mean, they can learn a lot of math out in the real world, right?
Yeah.
It seems like there was that highlight of Rockefeller's plan was to create a workforce for their production, their factories and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that is the result. I mean, what we're experiencing now is the result of that decision for economy to get involved in the education system.
It's just by equipping them with the basic skill set to build a good foundation for society, right? And
how is a society going to get built in advance if you don't have a big workforce? So it makes sense, but at the same time, for me, it's not the most conducive way for all the population of kids to learn. Like, if you want to do that with your kid, like parents should be able to, that's Abbas.
Yeah.
The school near here is, offers a different kind of structure and culture in their approach to education. They're like Montessori, and they're more hands-on and less so focused on academics and awards and academic awards and those kind of achievements. Because you can see, the kids are getting stressed already at third grade. It's like there's already a significant amount of increasing pressure to do well in school. Not just from the kids themselves, but from the parents, and then there's more difficult subjects like, Filipino, of course, is a requirement here in
it's a struggle for every Filipino student.
Yeah. That's why we took your advice and just went and got a tutor like right away from day one.
So after school, you gotta go to the tutor.
You gotta go to the tutor, which takes
more
away
learning
time from just being able to play. Right? They should be playing more.
Yeah.
That's why I think it should be opposite. Like ABBA should be the way the mass population is taught, and then there should be just like, if you want to do the Rockefeller style education for work and for corporate and all that stuff, like that's a different type of education system. Or that would be interesting, right? If you had a choice on what kind of education system your kid could participate in. Well, we just don't have a choice. I mean, you do have a choice. I guess ABBAS is available, but it's like, it's not cheap, dude. Like,
oh yeah, maybe one of the most expensive schools.
It should be opposite, right? It should be opposite, but I don't know. That's
if you can afford it, then why not?
Sure,
I'd probably send my kid there if I can.
maybe I wonder if anyone like sends their kids to ABBAS in high school. Maybe when it gets higher stress, they can have a culture that's not so stressful in terms of academic achievement.
How about homeschooling? I heard it's a growing trend.
That is a good option,
especially in America. Here, I'm not sure, but I've heard some parents were enrolling their kids at homeschool, and that was offered from America. You just got to pay, but it's going to be difficult since most of us are working. Both parents are working here in the Philippines. So unless you commit to it, so why not? But it's an option. Do you know anyone in particular? Yeah.
I actually do. My brother and his partner have decided to homeschool their kids.
Nice.
And
they can't trust the government anymore, huh?
Well,
educating your kids.
Yeah. These days, when they're making, when policies are being enforced on the parents to speak to their kids about topics like gender at such a young age, as a requirement by the age of like, I don't know, I think it's like 5 years old, you have to discuss the topic. That's an actual policy that's enforced.
California, to be specific. I'm not sure.
Apparently, it must be in other states because my brother doesn't live in California, so it must be enforced in other places as well. So I'm sure it's an issue in a lot of places. It sounds like.
Yeah, so some I understand that a lot of parents are concerned about that, right? I mean, you're not there, you're not participating in their education, in the process of acquiring information. So it would be better if you were at least in control of the information that is being gathered. So homeschool is one option. Perhaps if you can afford to, in private school, whatever type of, I'd probably prefer a Catholic school, to be honest. If my child will be
Catholic Christian school,
specifically Catholic,
that's readily available here. No problem here. No problem.
I graduated in a Jesuit school and a Lasallian system school in college, so Corpus Christian High School is non-sectarian, I think. But still, it's built on the foundation of Christianity. So I would prefer. That's just my thing. But there's options, right? So we can have,
there are a few options.
We do have the power, I think, individually as parents to educate our children.
I think if I would do it over parenting anyways, I would really consider trying to become a good teacher. Not just a specialized teacher, but actually being able to deliver a message to a certain age group effectively and entertainingly. I think, man, you would probably make a big difference. And if you were homeschooling and people could pay you, and you had a different approach to teaching all these different subjects, and you would do it within their household. Maybe some people have access to farms, man. They would learn a lot counting eggs, like
Yeah,
that would be way more fun. Go count the chickens or something like that'd be a fun way to learn, counting, right?
Yeah.
It's not, but when it's all about memorization,
Yeah.
you could easily do like, 6 fruits on that mango tree over there. And then there's another 6 mango
Yeah.
tree. That's multiplication.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to memorize, like memorizing is so boring, dude. Can
Especially
I'm sure you remember trying to memorize the spelling list, right? For the quiz that's coming up. It was so boring.
Yeah. The
So
way they teach math and science, sometimes it's kind of like, oh man, this is just a lot of kids don't absorb the information that
Yeah.
fast or that readily, since they would get bored or would get lost in the subject
I
most
think
of the time.
memorization is a lot to ask for even as an 8, 9 year old.
Yeah.
Something.
It's a matter of capturing their attention. I don't know, maybe that's a challenge for our teachers in today's education system. So maybe perhaps we can work in that. Who knows? Some teachers would be inspired in teaching the next generation. I'm sure there are great ones out there. But in my experience, so when I was growing up, I can only count a few. Unfortunately, I have lots of great teachers, but I think it can be improved. I'm not an expert of education. It's based on my experience and a lot of kids' experience. I was a C grade student, just an average
I'm
Joe.
not straight A's.
Yeah,
not the straight A's did at all.
Yeah,
definitely not at algebra.
That's why most of the time we push our kids more, since we want them to have an honor. What do you call this?
Honor student.
Honor student. We want them to be honor students, get all the medals, because of course you get to a better school, most likely. So
that's an
how much do you push them, like, and you still have to involve them in sports? Other than that, so many activities, right?
Right.
So the balance there, I think, is the challenge for me. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I still have time, since she's still almost 3. So she won't be going to school in maybe till 4 or 5. So
are you considering homeschooling?
One of the options, if I can afford it, or if we have the luxury of time, why not? It's an option for me. Knowing the status of today's, it's a scary world out there right now.
Yeah.
So
So
but it's an option. But I'm okay with the.
I mean, you're more than qualified to teach. It's just a matter of like, what approach would you take to teach the kid? I mean, at this
point, I'm willing to go Amish.
Yeah,
the Amish.
That's probably not a bad idea.
Just move to Philadelphia. It's in Philadelphia, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Pennsylvania.
I'm sorry. There you go.
At least the main area.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
The only place they live.
I've been there a couple of times before. It's a long time. No, a few years ago. But it's a great place. I'd like to live there. I mean, preferably. I wonder
what their education system is like.
Yeah, I think they try to live as minimally as possible. Even sometimes not using any electricity. And then the modern ones do, but minimal only.
Sila mga makina, di ba?
Naangyapon. Yeah, but they pray a lot. Probably.
Is that right?
How many times in a day? Yeah.
Okay.
They're very religious.
I
forgot what their specific denomination is, but they are very religious, just like what's the name? It's the basic nilang thing. So maybe it's time to simplify things. I don't know. The modern world is so just I don't know, man. It's kind of like when I'm gonna take a look at it, it's like when you're in the middle of Vegas, right? At 2 a.m.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Staring around and just not knowing where to go because there's so many places to go. There's so many things. It's Sin City, man.
Lots of lights and bells and
Sin City. Yeah. What happens in Vegas?
Everything is tantalizing.
Yeah, so it kind of feels like that.
Consumes you and like brings you into this black hole. Called the casino. You don't know what time it is.
Yeah. So maybe it's time to slow down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That's the feeling I get nowadays.
Yeah, we're getting more and more disconnected from nature.
Yeah. Maybe we're just getting old.
Yeah, maybe we're just getting old. Not going to the mountain enough. We don't go on enough camping trips.
Did you? You went to Mount Apple and some other places. I think we talked about it in the the last episodes.
Yeah.
You work out a
Previous
lot lately,
episodes,
right?
yeah.
You've been attending some races, maybe
The fun runs.
fun runs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those aren't anything we're bragging about. It's like 5K. You know what I mean? It's just we joined, the wife and I joined about, I think we've done three now.
Three.
Yeah, three fun runs.
Oh,
But 5K, you know, it's just 5K.
But still, yeah. It's
Full
getting more
full on
popular
training.
now. You notice there's
Grabe, Bibo kayo itong
yeah,
the last one.
there's like races almost every 2 months, I think, or
There was just
events.
one like a couple days ago, a few days ago.
Oh yeah,
There was
last October. I think that was a Halloween
trail
run.
yeah, the spooky trail
Spooky
run.
trail run.
That was apparently the Cagayan Trail Group's first time hosting a spooky trail run.
And you've been pretty active with your advocacy for health, right? Lately,
Yeah.
you've been crunching it on Instagram and TikTok, just in case,
not really.
just in case the some of our viewers, if there are, doesn't know. Can you link them to your TikTok page? We'll put it in the description. Yeah,
I don't do TikTok anymore.
I mean Instagram. I'm sorry. Yeah. Instagram.
It's just the Tatay Time podcast. Yeah.
And the shorts. So you do have the shorts as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You talk about health there.
Talk about child development.
Yeah. Just in case if you're interested, you guys, where's the camera? There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll be reading some excerpts from that in the episodes, because Reels is actually very difficult to read an excerpt from a book, and then get the message in 15 seconds. You know, real people are watching shorter and shorter. Like the most common watch time is like 5 to 10 seconds, and then they're scrolling to something else. If you have anything beyond like 10 seconds, people are scrolling, man.
Yeah, nobody listens anymore.
Not on Reels.
Yeah.
People go to YouTube for so that's why I'll have to do it on the episodes instead, because trying to do it on the Reels is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there are some good ones that from the book that I am reading excerpts from, is called Best Friend, Worst Enemy. And it's about child development. And it's the chapter I'm reading from right now is about the issues within a group setting, group environment. And there are stories like a group of kids will go to a bridge where they're doing crazy stuff, like jumping off the bridge into the water. One ends up dying, you know, and then like, what happens in that kind of scenario? Are there people that are actually going to help, or does everyone just get in their cars and drive away? You know what I mean? So these kind of excerpts are in that book, and it's really interesting. The laws of a group setting, like inclusion. You know, kids want to feel, well, we all want to feel included in a group. So there's an interesting experiment called the Beeline group. Have you heard of that one?
Beeline group.
Yeah, so it's an interesting experiment, and apparently it's very old. I don't know when it was, but it's very popular, very famous, I guess, from what I understand. I only recently found out about it from this book. And so the Beeline group experiment, so you have a control group of people, and they are everyone is going to be looking at a screen that has 3 lines, A, B, and C. A and C are clearly the same length and not B. Right. So they know that, and they are instructed to give the wrong answer. So you introduce the experiment person who comes into the group and then will be asked the question, which line is not the same? The control group will give the wrong answer on purpose, and the experimentee will give the wrong answer as well. Regardless of the fact that they can clearly see which line is the same. You know, so they are willing to say the wrong answer because they want to be included in the group. And people are willing to do even just at that level. That's of course you can think of many historic you know, events where people have done this. Right. But it's interesting.
World War II Germany.
And in the school setting, that happens as well. And it gets really obvious in 3rd grade, like about this feeling, wanting to feel included and feeling excluded. You know, so some of these laws of the group setting are really interesting to be able to observe in real time. Yeah, it's a heavy book. It's starting to get to the point where, you know, there are stories like tragic stories of kids doing crazy things and somebody dies. So that's an interesting. I'll have to read that one next next episode.
Yeah, that would be interesting because since at least you're aware of some of the let's say the propensity for the human mind to, I mean, we think we're in control, but most of the time we're not.
Right. No, we're not.
Yeah.
No.
So while your child is growing, then you can at least extrapolate from that information, and then at least you can guide them. Like,
there was something interesting. I was listening to a podcast with Rich Roll and Dr. Zach Bush. I don't know.
Dr. Zach.
Yeah.
Bush.
He used to work in hospice, and he has like an extensive list of qualifications. I can't even repeat like how many things.
Smart.
Yeah, he's that smart. He's that smart. So, but he was mentioning now I lost my train of thought about
it's okay. It'll come.
Yeah, damn it, I lost it.
Dr. Bush.
Yeah, what was Dr. Zach Bush talking about?
I'm thinking about different Bush.
Yeah. What were we talking about just before I mentioned that?
You were talking about the that experiment, the beeline.
Oh, the beeline.
Yeah.
So to go back to that, he has a laboratory, and he was observing cells in the laboratory. A single cell, when you separate it from its other group, because there are cells that work together to get something done, like the cells of an organ or something. They work together, right? If you take some cell, any human cell, and you isolate it on its own, it becomes chaotic, and then it becomes like a cancerous cell. So it was interesting to hear him observe that you can influence this cell's life and the way it reacts when it's isolated. So at a cellular level, we want to be included in the group for our own survival, which makes a lot of sense. Which the way we live as communities, and kind of like this, like we've mentioned before, superorganism. So it's interesting to hear him say that. I don't know why that came up to my mind, but I was just while we were talking.
Yes, and so
he made a really interesting observation.
We are talking about our kids now starting to participate in our society. They're grouping together, right? And you're not there anymore since she's in grade school now. So you got curious as to how, because sometimes she would go home and complain. I'm sure I've heard these stories from my friends as well.
Oh yeah,
they have fights and they have
they
have like drama. So especially girls, of course,
the whole class.
Yeah, so it happens a lot, and
teachers.
Yeah, and of course that's good that you're reading about that, since you're starting to observe the phenomenon, the those facts, so we can call it, that they are doing now.
Yeah, they're being influenced by that.
So at least you're aware.
Yeah,
trying to figure out how you can, or teach them how to navigate those problems, or you can call it problems, right?
Yeah, there could be problems. Yeah, definitely.
What if she gets excluded from a group for how she looks like, or maybe she's a bit fat or too fat, maybe for it happens.
The same thing I experienced when I grew up. I was always the smallest person in the room. So that's nothing new for me, but for her, it's definitely different, to be like the smallest kid in the room. But that's why, you got to keep your kid active and get them to exercise so they can find confidence within themselves, which is why I'm a big believer that you need to get the kids active, because if they don't feel like moving around, I mean, that's going to affect their self-confidence when it's time to play, or just do much of anything, really. If they don't feel they can function properly, it's a very important. But that I was just thinking at that when that reminded me what you were saying about the group setting. When your kid is out all day, you start to realize how much less of an influence you are on your kid, and how much more that group setting is in the school. So it really is going to make a big difference where you where you decide you and your partner where to send the kid to school. It's going to make a big difference when they're out all day away from you. Hopefully you've done decent work by the time they're in third grade, so they have some, they still need guidance, of course. I'm not saying that you just let them go after third grade, but I mean, they still of course need guidance, like we all do.
Yeah.
Even as an adult, I need guidance. That's why we're on this podcast. We don't know what we're doing. You came here for answers, my friend.
We're old and we still need guidance by something, somehow, right?
I don't know what we're doing around here.
I know 50, 60, 70, 80-year-olds who are still, at least some of them are still praying, asking guidance, asking.
Oh, we're all praying.
Yeah. Especially now. Holy hell.
We need some help.
2023. What is
anything right
happening? These are special times, right?
Special times.
Too special now. No.
Yeah.
But anyway,
what's been going on, man?
A lot. But going back to that as of your, it seems like it kind of like this pattern of detaching away from the parent. It's been common since time,
since
more way before. Yeah, I remember growing up as well. Like especially in your teens, you seem to want to detach yourself from your parents, or want more independence, autonomy.
We think it's a natural process.
Think you know better.
But is it really natural? Is it?
I don't think so.
Like, I wonder if
I feel like it is natural in a way, in a sense of how we evolved. I think in with the human, how the body evolves, the mind evolves, but it doesn't seem
leave the nest, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
Leave the nest.
Yeah, and then from a biological perspective, it kind of seems intuitive, right? That we should get away,
experience.
Yeah.
Oh, all
right. So we'll be back. Just gonna pause it for a while. Just took a little break there. Where was I? Detachment.
Detachment, yeah.
But it's pretty normal, but it doesn't feel that normal in a way when I'm thinking about it now. It's kind of like the way we detach ourselves. There's something wrong with the process. That's my whole point of it. Like when we detach ourselves, there's no more, sometimes less participation for most parents. I think just let them be. The proper guidance for me would be acknowledging what exactly are we trying to do in this life, right? When you're guiding your kids.
Sure.
Before I let you go, before I place you on the altar, right? There's meaning for that altar. Anyway, before I let you go, I make sure that you are equipped, you are prepared, not just mentally, physically, but also spiritually. Before you truly face the world. We're too in a hurry to face the world. Like, I want to get away from these folks, man. There's so many rules. Right? There's too many rules. I just want to go out and party. We do that a lot, but come to think of it, now that I realize what were some of the mistakes that our parents could have done. Well, they're not perfect, and we will make mistakes.
Oh yeah,
no doubt about it. There will be a time where
already made some.
Yeah, but
plenty.
We acknowledge that. Yeah. that the way we were just thrown into the world, you just get a job and it's okay. That classic line, finish college or finish high school or finish this, finish that, everything will be smooth. But when you clearly lay out the world to them, clearly lay out the path, then they will be prepared. I think better prepared than us, because I definitely wasn't prepared for a world where we're about to. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. It's scary times, really. I've never been this scared before.
Yeah. What's the latest news? I haven't been following.
Other than like war, it's just the drums of war are just everywhere. It's like popping out. And then there's like, even locally here in Asia.
Oh, really?
What's the thing with China and
in the sea,
Taiwan and us, of course. We're involved no matter who we like it or not. We're going to get involved, just like World War II. So, of course, when you read history, it's kind of repeating itself. In my lifetime, I thought we figured this shit out like a long time ago. Apparently, we haven't learned our lessons,
Not much.
and we're too eager to kill each other for our ideologies.
Has it ever really stopped?
I don't know, man. That's why the only thing I can do right now is just stand firm, stand your ground, be prepared. That's the thing that I'm, because my daughter is young. I don't know what kind of world she's going to grow up, or if there is a world left for her. That's a big question, but I do have a bit of faith that if ever, while I'm still alive, I'm going to try to make a better place for her and her peers to have a future that they can at least reason with each other, right?
Mm.
So the least we can do is teach our kids to communicate better with people, with each other. That's what we're doing right now. I mean, when we're talking, I'm sure we have different ideas, different ideologies, but at the end of the day, we explore each other's ideas, right? And then try to see
respectfully.
Yeah.
But man,
so,
no.
As parents,
a lot of disrespect going on right now.
See kids when they're talking, I don't know, we're family, and but we can talk like openly as much as possible. It's better. Bring back the nakedness in the Garden of Eve.
Yeah. Awkward moments.
Yeah. The moment they ate from the the forbidden fruit, we're like, holy shit, I'm naked.
Yeah. Didn't even realize it, bro.
Yeah. Are you? I mean, what do you think about what's happening right now? Like,
it's insanity, man. There's just the slaughters that have been happening. The war stories are.
It's horrible.
Wow,
Jesus.
man. How many generations
we're lucky for now
be suffering from that trauma? I mean, that book about genomics was really interesting. That it's very clear that the trauma is inherited multiple generations. And that's really messed up to think about that. Like, how long is that going to take to heal? I have no idea. Like that, probably nobody knows that one. That's, I mean, man.
We'll see. Well, we're still alive. We're still kicking.
We got it good here. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Past 3 years have been
a lot worse.
We've been blessed, I can say, for the past 3 years. We got through COVID, not unscathed, of course.
Everybody made it out alive.
Yeah, and then things were still uncertain. Economy's down the drain. A lot of people were jobless. I don't want to even go back to that time, but at least we're still here, right?
Yeah.
So that's the good news. And we keep marching. We keep moving on. Just to wake up every day with the same conviction that, wow, we're still alive. All right.
Try to make the world a little bit better through our kids.
Yeah, through our kids. That's right. That song. What was that again? It's a classic song.
Yeah.
I believe the children are our future.
Just keeping the expectations low, not too high.
Yeah.
Keep your expectations to yourself, right?
I think it's still messed up, but there are places where it's not. So
sure,
we can keep it that way for now.
It's not America. There's some madness going on, man.
Yeah,
madness.
We may be a country that's not that rich or well endowed in terms of other things, but we do have a culture where even in the midst of dark times, we can still manage to laugh and have a fiesta every now and then.
Yeah.
It's the Filipino spirit in us that just keeps us.
That just reminded me of the Passport Bros. You heard of that, right?
The Passport Bros. Yeah. We talked about that. That was interesting.
Yeah. That's so funny, man. It's awesome.
Move to the Philippines, find yourself a good Filipino wife, and then enjoy the islands for Westerners.
And people are getting mad about it. Like, what is there to get mad about? Can't you just be happy for the dude or the girl? Like,
I'm just looking for women who are willing to submit.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me tell you something about these Filipino women.
It was funny, man.
We got some warriors over here, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just like some throwback town or something. Like this is people got some serious fight in them around here.
Oh yeah.
Got a lot of history here.
Yeah, it's a
some
lot.
recent history too, not just like we didn't just have a war like 20 years ago. Like, we were still having a war.
It used to be like every week you hear it in the news,
Yeah.
somewhere in this island and that part of the island. So there's an ongoing civil war going on. So
we got our own problems too.
yeah. So that's that. Another thing to try and solve. Who knows? But yeah, other than that, what else have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Oh man, November is kind of a milestone for me being an asthmatic. It's the longest time, 7 months that I've been able to go for not using my inhaler.
Nice, 7 months.
Yeah, 7 months. I made it 7 months. Maybe next year I'll be able to make it to 8 months. So the gains have gotten, smaller as the years have gone on. So I'm not sure what I can do to make it better. At this point, I'll see what happens next year, and then I've heard of something called a mucus-free diet. Have you heard of that?
Nah,
I don't know much about it, but
it's a foreign.
yeah,
I've had mucus-free diet. Mucus is
mucus like phlegma.
Okay.
Phlegma. Apparently that's a thing. So I still have to learn about it, but I don't know. That's seems like an interesting topic.
So you're still trying to explore your diet more now, like coming up with more.
See what other practices there are
that could work. Yeah, you've been pretty active in the plant-based community, right?
Yeah.
So you just had a talk with the yoga people,
the yoga community. Yeah. It was a meetup of, I think, roughly 20 something people at the local WRK studio here in Cagayan. So a yoga teacher was hosting the event there, and there were sponsors and food and prizes, and there were workshops, like there was a Pilates workshop, there was a breathing workshop, there was even a guest instructor from Dumaguete, which is actually an instructor of one of our cousins.
Okay.
And so it was like a full morning of different modalities within the yoga community. And my part was speaking on the plant-based, because apparently, as I was told, which I didn't know, that plant-based is part of the yoga practice. It's just obviously not everyone participates in that part, but I guess they do teach that kind of lifestyle.
I see. So that's what you're trying to promote there in the community.
Not diet. I don't know, not necessarily. Like, I think they do it more for harm.
Okay.
So specifically, I don't advocate to reduce harm like the vegans do.
Okay.
Although I am proud to say that I do reduce my suffering. I don't buy leather and things like that as much as possible.
The unnecessary things
unnecessarily.
Yeah.
But I was mainly there to speak on the application of the plant-based lifestyle, whole food plant-based lifestyle into their, I guess, setting of yoga practitioners.
Or their journey towards a healthier what do you call this? Lifestyle.
Sure.
I've only tried it for a couple of times during the pandemic, and more than a couple of times for sure. With our dear cousin Jericho. He's an instructor, so
so a long time now.
He was the one who was guiding us with the breathing, and
he's the one who got me into yoga.
Really?
Yeah. Me and the wife we just go to wherever he's teaching. So in a Samana studio too.
So he's still pretty active. You can check him out. There he's in Facebook.
Echo Yoga.
Yeah, Echo Yoga
here in Cagayan de Oro City.
So go check him out.
You will definitely still sweat. I promise you that. His style of yoga is like suitable for people who feel, wanted something a little bit maybe more stronger based versus, there's like more gentle versions of yoga. So Teacher Echo does that kind. You're definitely going to sweat. So don't worry about that. Right. You'll be challenged, no doubt about it. Even as an athlete, I can definitely tell you that his workouts will get you sweating.
Wow.
But apparently, as I was told, the physical form of yoga is actually just to prepare you for meditation.
Oh, okay.
I only learned that really recently. I mean, I kind of the last pose of yoga of the yoga sequence is usually a meditation pose. You lie on your back, palms up,
Okay.
and then turn off the lights, and then you just kind of meditate. So the whole purpose of doing all those asanas, all those different poses, is to prepare you for that one time, which is unfortunately what ends up happening if you go to a studio is you only get like 5 minutes of meditation time, where it would be nice if
On
you
the
get
last
like
part.
yeah, in the last part. It's pretty limited, when you have to have a scheduled yoga session. So that's one thing that I appreciated about the pandemic when that shit broke out and we had to do episodes online. I just basically did yoga every day. I woke up, did yoga, and that kept my sanity during the pandemic. Let me tell you, because you couldn't go anywhere. Couldn't even go to the beach. Like
that was a time where
it was ridiculous.
We weren't allowed to leave the city.
That was so dumb. None of me sa kuan, like asa to sa highway na, layo na. It was like
you have to turn back.
Yeah, had to turn back.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Well, I hope we certainly learned our lessons. So
Mapawa closed down thanks to that stupid pandemic. Dude, that's ridiculous.
Well, they're back now, I think.
Yeah. Limited.
Limited now.
They hosted a trail run, which was awesome.
That's nice. So yeah.
3
years on, and still.
Oh yeah. So in that talk, I covered the top 5 reasons, the top 5 obstacles that usually keeps people from making healthy lifestyle choice.
Okay.
Healthy lifestyle transition.
So what are the top 5 in your research?
The top 5, number 1 is time. Number 2 is lack of motivation. Number 3 is lack of knowledge. Number 4 is cost, and number 5 is lack of support from family and friends.
Yeah. I think number 5 is quite important too. Right?
Yeah, I thought it should be reversed. It should be number 1 probably, because it seems to be the big one that people struggle with, is like the social occasions, the birthdays, the Christmases.
But of course, you can't force your family members to adjust according to your needs, right? You have to be the one to.
That was an interesting question actually during the event. I was asked after the talk, is like, how do you get it to work? And basically, I'm just paraphrasing the question, but it was essentially like, how do you get it to work in a mixed family? Because the kaila ang akong Mrs. kato nag-host, so siya na Montana, and then so she's like, we went out before and she didn't eat plant-based, you know what I mean? So it's like, obviously we're in a mixed household, and I told her it was a lot to do with acceptance. You just accept that people are different.
Yeah.
Just like I would in any other setting. It's like, I don't have to disrespect you just because you're a different religion or whatever. It's like, everything is still the same. Like, we're all just humans at the end of the day. And I don't have any right or any agency to like impose my beliefs if the kid doesn't want to follow. Like, if you, I don't want to force so much that it becomes like a psychological problem, like the develop eating disorder or something, because I'm so strict, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I feel like I would have failed as trying to promote wellness if I was so strict. I forced my kid into having some kind of eating disorder. So bahala siya, if she wants, I just have to inform her, educate her, like, look, this stuff is not good for you. And I just try not to remind her every day, you know what I mean? It's like, why are you eating that garbage again? Like, that is bullshit. No, so I try not to say stuff like that, or to her, obviously.
Yeah.
Not too often anyway.
No, it's that's good.
Just educate,
even though it's an uphill battle, I think, because
it's like the steepest hill ever.
Yeah, so
the point where your own mother will speak against you.
Yeah, so you just have to keep just finding better ways on how we can do that. But
I shared the story where my mother went with us to the pediatrician because she was so concerned we weren't feeding our daughter dairy. She was like, well, what about her bones? I was like, yeah, go ahead and ask. Like, I was fully confident. Like, so she got to be reassured from the pedia, which
doctor,
the same pedia we have. Doc Sereno, if anyone's looking for a good pedia, shout out to Doc Sereno.
Okay.
But I reassured my mother that her bones are not going to fall apart just because she's not having dairy, right? And it's just true for any kid. As long as the kid has a balanced diet, they're going to be fine. And that's what we try to do as much as possible. Lessen the processed foods, increase the variety. That's like of whole foods, not just like
Even
the variety of candy or
the need to just keep eating all day long, candies in the afternoons,
right.
like some unnecessary snacks.
Have a break point
Yeah.
at the nighttime. Like a couple hours before they go to sleep, they should stop
Mm.
eating already. You know,
Yeah.
we all should. We shouldn't be
Yeah.
eating like 3 hours prior to bedtime.
It's important that we start from with ourselves, right? So we can't discipline others if we don't have the discipline. I certainly don't. That's what I'm trying to do. At first, I need to discipline my mind.
Yeah.
Through whatever means. If you like yoga, meditation, go for it. I have my own ways. Also, disciplining your body through physical exercise, right? You do
that
other
was
things. That's another thing. So there's a lot of work needed there, but
that was a point that I was able to that was asked. One thing I mentioned was you just have to demonstrate, just show what's possible, because humans are very good at copying and then exceeding. So you see that all the time with record breakers, right? And so humans can see something as possible, and they will go beyond what they knew was possible. And once the next person does it, the next and the next, that's why we are now on Mars.
Yes. And that's exactly what Jesus did. Preach. Just by showing the people what is possible,
and
right?
He got murdered.
Anyway,
So in other words, my friends.
So I think
demonstration.
If we're gonna end with a note there, let us demonstrate to ourselves first that we can do something about it. That we are not beholden to our desires or ourselves. That we can break some of the chains that are keeping us from getting better, and we can wake up every day. There's a way. The thing is that we keep trying no matter what. We just keep doing it, and that's the only way for us to overcome whatever challenges that are out there. So I do pray that we all get to do that, and there is hope, I think. So we'll see you again in another episode that hopefully we can still make if we're still there.
We're still alive. The mushrooms haven't eaten us.
So thanks for tuning in. Papa Ben, do you have any parting words for
fight the gluttony?
Fight the gluttony. That's good. That's good.
Observe and fight the gluttony.
Observe and fight the gluttony. You can become stronger. That's a good one, man. So happy birthday, man. Thanks for the years and many more years to come. And we'll see you again. I do hope so. But for now, we'll leave you with that message. And thank you for tuning in. And again, this is Papa
Ben,
exploring the world of fatherhood with philosophy, science, and art and spirituality. So, see you again all soon. Godspeed. Thank you.